So 2 guitar players staring each other down.
We could do this.
Except that I'd lose.
Phil works. No, I feel like this is that time. Like I feel like, God, sorry, I'm gonna get. If there's kids around, like it's like if you're in like a threesome.
Oh yeah.
And like there's 2 guys and there's a girl. You just got a high five and it's all good. It's like we eyeball for eyeballs meet. And smile and it's all good. That's sorry, but so it's when 2 guitar players duel.
They duel.
Sorry about that. Kids back on. We're in. It was a dark spot. I just went.
In the first 30 seconds, too.
I know.
You're supposed to watch for that.
I know.
At least we didn't swear.
So this is Joe Bonamassa and Eric Gales were battling recently.
A brand new video. I think it's called I Want My Crown or I Want the Crown.
And when you first told me, I heard about it, it's coming up, the battle's coming. I thought it was going to be a real cutting heads.
I think they've done that on some like blues cruises.
I've seen the kind of do that. I was like expecting like, I want to see a real one where like the loser had to die.
Like Squid Game style.
Yeah, go to hell. Yeah. Or something like, yeah, it's like, oh, your soul goes to hell.
Crossroads.
I feel like in that way, Eric Gales is definitely going to win because that guy looks like Satan's henchman in this video.
He does.
It's pretty.
We mean that with all respect,
no,
sir.
dude, like he looks tight.
I mean, he looks awesome. Like mean in an awesome way. Yeah.
I am going to buy that outfit.
I don't know if it's going to translate.
Whatever. I love the way he dressed to the T. Amazing. Yes. His shoes are on point.
Sweet rings.
Yeah, everything. Like I can't play with rings. I didn't wear a wedding ring. It just freaks me out.
Mine is all squishy. Just get a squishy one.
I got other things from me that are squishy. So let's move on.
But we watched the video.
Yeah, and it was a good video.
It was a great video.
Like I've never watched a Joe Bonamassa music video before. I
haven't either. Only live performance.
So maybe the marketing of this is successful.
There you go.
Because we actually sat as a staff. We all watched it, and
I set the reminder on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like when it's like premiering, blah 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 blah. I set the reminder like 3 days.
Yeah, our whole team watched it. Well, I was expecting it to be like a real fight.
Yeah, no.
Like, it was a film and choreographed video.
It's just a video.
But the whole idea is like, cutting heads is not really a thing that happens as much anymore. Like,
did it ever really happen?
Yes, it did. Of course, it did. Mythologically, I think back in the old days, like yeah, it had to have. Let's just go with me on that. I think. I like it. I love the idea of it. I think we should bring it back and make it an adventure.
I think as long as it's in good fun.
That's what I mean too.
The first guitar shop I ever worked in, the guy was like super 80s dude. And he was saying at the height of like the neoclassical, 80s sort of over the top
that stuff. Yeah.
He's like, you would be teaching in a store, especially if you were in a city. And he's like, you'd have kids or not kids, but people come in to take lessons and their whole goal was just to like show you up that they were better than you. Yeah, sort of like martial arts dojos where like somebody comes in and challenges them.
I love those on YouTube though, when like the sensei just crushes them.
Right.
It's like the guy's like, I'm a street fighter, I can take you. I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish you right now.
Probably not.
And then the reverse, it's fun to watch the fake like ones do the.
That's the ones
stuff.
I like when the real MMA dudes come in and like the mystical,
annihilate those dudes.
My chi, and they just punch them in the face like right away. And it's like, ooh.
I would like to say I could take one of those guys out. I couldn't because they probably actually know how to use real martial arts. Where I've taken 3 months of taekwondo. I ran into some of the guys from the dojo the other day.
I saw
they drove by like, hey, when you coming back? I'm like, I don't know if ever.
Maybe you should go back.
I know. Part of me wants to in a weird way, right?
I kind of want to go do like fun jiu-jitsu or something like that.
I know. Maybe something a little.
Imagine if you and I would roll doing jiu-jitsu.
Do we have to like wear like the outfits, or can we do it like sort of like more Spartan style?
I think we can do it Spartan style.
Like the little
totally
loins
just
thing.
nothing.
No, I want to wear
not
something.
even that. Like just nude.
I'm
in
not
the
having
nude.
penises flopping around. It's just. And if you're having an insecure day, it's just a bad scene for everyone. I don't want
cold
that.
in here.
Yeah, I feel tooty. Oh, Victor Derrick wins every battle.
God, yeah. Okay. So there's
anyway,
that.
So
it's cutting heads.
I think it would be a neat thing to sort of see it like it just come back and like in a fun sort of battle way, just every once in a while.
So I used to play for this guy named Alan Craig Miller, still a dear friend, and I still play for him occasionally. And we used to go on the road, and we'd have another guy named Keenan Date, who is a fantastic artist. Look him up. He's a great guitar player. He's a lefty. We've talked about lefties lately. And we used to have these subs, and he and I would climb up on the subs for part of the show, and we would just guitar duel for like 20 minutes. It was like as long as the crowd was into it, and it was super fun.
I think it can be something fun for the crowd because it's like a competition. It's like wrestling.
But it is.
It's not real.
Well, we would joke about who we were going to let win the duel every night.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Is like you sort of stage it, you make it theatrical, and you make it.
But it's fun.
Instead, I think we've gotten so like touchy-feely in our society now, like, with the idea of like having that competitiveness in this might be like not accepted, but I think we can bring it back.
Well, I mean, I think the other side of the coin, right, is people are like, oh, music's not a competition, blah, blah, it's not athletic, blah, 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 blah. The thing bad players say, I'm just kidding.
Just the amount of blah blahs you just said, it was just cracking me up.
But I mean, you know, and that is true, right? But if it's in good fun, I like to think of it almost more like a musical conversation. Like if you and I are playing and there's a rhythm section and I think that's a lot of fun.
And then every once in a while you can set it up to where it seems like this like sort of real competition where it's not though. It's like it's like wrestling again, right. But it takes an insane amount of skill to do both.
It does.
To have it to where it's effective because I got it. I've looked at some like pro wrestlers before and talked to them and like I can't even tell you how much they get hurt. And like it's just insane like what they go through like and like oh it's all fake. I'm like bro that is not fake.
You can't fake being slammed onto a mat even if there's pads. You know the thing where like the old ones would have the razor blade hidden and they would like do this and they would slit their scalp so they would let their bleed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God, I mean it's like Peaky Blinders but for reals.
For real. So when you watch those old like Hulk Hogan matches and he's bleeding in his eyes, it's really like he would just like slit his scalp.
Jumping off the top of like the ring like that's like it's
those dudes get beat up, man. Yeah. If you read any of their autobiographies or anything, yeah.
Like rough. Glow was like my jam when I was a kid. Like not the TV show, which I loved. That was wonderful too. The whole cast was amazing in that show, and they've all gone off to do great things. And Mark McCrone, he was already on there. But anyway, the real Glow, I was obsessed with as a kid.
There you go.
And I used to like dial in the numbers like 976 and like and 50 cents a call like to vote for your favorite. Like oh no, like
your parents are like, what are these charges?
My parents didn't know. I said I have no idea. Must have been my grandmother.
The government getting us.
I blamed it on my grandma, I think.
I heard that.
She was older. I could do that then. I was 8.
Yeah.
It was no. It'd be fun. Like it can be enjoyable.
Well, you know, and I think when you go on these like blues cruises or things like that, you see, because you know Eric Gales and Joe Bonamassa have done this before, and they're not really cutting. Like there is no winner or loser. That's one of the comments in the thing was the real winners in this duel are the music fans or something like that.
That kind of made me sort of sick in my stomach in a good way. I was like, oh, it's so sweet.
But the sentiment of that is great, and it's true, right? There is something about that gives you this excitement, and it might just help bring excitement of guitar solos back to the public eye if they felt like. Think about how much people love The Voice in American Idol.
Oh yeah, good point.
So what if there was a show where these two guitar players? I mean, you know, it would last for like 6 months.
Yeah,
people would be into
Voices. The voice guys.
I know.
But I don't know if it's a show, but just like in the guitar loving community, it could happen. Yeah. And there's
I think it does in the guitar loving in that world that I like. I feel like that's the whole world, but it's not.
Well, in those like best of the blues, I remember they used to have those in the towns like Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and Raleigh would have their own little things.
I won the one in Charleston.
Well, I'm gonna do a little disparaging, like, cause I always found some of those were incredibly biased.
Oh, they suck. Yeah, no, they totally are biased.
Oh, like hey, Bob, you come out here every night, like you're gonna win. Like I never did. True. I've never done. It. I watched kids doing that. Clearly shredded some of these old dudes. Shredded them. Yeah. And the old guy would win because he's like the local at the bar that always. I was like, dude, that kid crushed like everything about what just happened. And he's 15. Give him the freaking title so he stays in the guitar. Like,
that's not how those work.
No, that's how it should work.
The one that I won, it was the Guitar Center King of the Blues.
Well, that's different. That's cool.
Well, it was cool, but then they flew us down to Florida. So I met a bunch of cool people from that, but. Down there, the guy who won was like the local dude. Showed up late, didn't have his job. Like he really broke all the rules.
But he's the guy.
Came in and like high-fived all the judges because they were like in bands with him and stuff.
Okay.
And he still won.
So kids, in real life, nepotism still exists, and it does.
But there was a guy. I don't remember this guy's name. Old dude with like the flat cap who was just
insane.
And I was just like, how this guy? He might win the whole thing. Nope.
He didn't win?
He didn't win, no. They gave it to the kid who came in late and high-fived the judges.
I mean, that's how I've seen this happen 5 times, too.
All right.
Oh, hey.
I mean, I wasn't going to win that one. I met one of the guy named Derek Dove, who I follow. He is a great man. Derek Dove and the Peacekeepers. They're fantastic. I met him in Florida from that. He's in Georgia.
Cutting heads.
It's
fun, man. Sometimes it's fun. Just do it for giggles. It makes you better, too. Play with someone that's a lot better than you.
That guy.
You'll learn. You'll learn from these licks, too.
Every time the old head gets cut, and you'll think, okay.
I mean, I used to cut heads with Richard, so I'm like, we would do it, and it was the most useful thing for me because it squashed my ego immediately when I thought I could take out this older dude, and he just like, no.
Well, you get in that mindset, like, I can play, I'm really good.
Pretty good.
And then you play against somebody like that who's a little more experienced.
And he just knows how to do it, and he knows how to work the crowd in the right ways.
Well, you realize it's about the pacing, right? It's about not every time. It's setting up your, you know.
Well, no, and I've learned that it took years, you know, just like, you know, from listening to like guys like Fish and John Mayer and Jimi Hendrix and all of them, just how the solo is, and Santana. And you save those peak points. And Jerry Garcia, he had that way to weave all the way in there, and he finally gets you there. But his was a long, winding road. It might take 25 minutes, but it was a fun journey, in my opinion. You know, that's it. That's all I got. So let us know what your thoughts. If you've ever done it, if you like it,
or you hate it, you think it's the worst idea ever. Let us know too what you think about that, the Eric Gales and the Joe Bonamassa video. I mean, some amazing guitar playing.
Give that some love up there too. Just like that's great for the guitar playing community.
It is. It absolutely
need
is.
stuff like this.
Right.
And that is a great song. It's awesome. And on a side note, we got a little video on this thing come out. Check out Clapton's new recording.
God, that acoustic thing is really, really
Spoiler alert, it's really good. That's it.
So
we'll do a thing on that.
We should do a thing on that. Anyways, there you go. Hit like and subscribe if you have not already. Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit that bell so you don't miss videos in the future. Thanks for hanging out with us as always.